what we're going to be showcasing to you guys is how you can actually use them to build all of that. You could have it build out all of the routines. Inside of all of those routines, it would build out all of the actions, all of the activities, all of the messages. Those messages, using a writing sample that you place in your profile, are going to be custom written so they sound like you. And it was all built by Sam, creating the entire experience in literally 20 minutes. That's going to be what we're going to be showcasing on the 10th. Good afternoon, everybody. I have something kind of cool to go over today. What we're going to be doing in this video is a bit of a behind the scenes in depth. We're going to be looking at how actually use our landing pages inside of SAM to build out events, and how, more importantly, you could do this too. Now, this is a really great case study for us about using your system to build out the entire process. And in fact, it's such a great case study. We actually have customers who are doing this successfully. So I got this message from Mark yesterday, and one of our brokers, a fellow by the name of Jose, him and his team were able to successfully bring in 103 new people into their business one single day using this strategy. So what we're going to be doing is we are going to be looking at the landing pages section inside of SAM, and then I'm going to showcase to you guys how we actually were able to put all of this together to start building out an event. And then, spoiler alert, if you are seeing this before October the 10th, 2025, you could actually attend this event live and you could go through the process and see how it's all done. And I'll dive into exactly how you could do that in just a second. So what we are going to be doing is I'm actually going to hop into my SAM account. Now, this SAM account is going to be one that maybe looks a little strange, and that's because over here in the dashboard section, I've removed most of this just because I don't need most of it. But what we're going to be focusing in today is on the top right-hand side, going into the setup section. And then under that, we're going to go into the landing pages. Now, for the landing pages, everyone who has an account with SAM gets one landing page. And if you need more, you can reach out to us and we can assist you in getting more. But I actually set mine up because it's my software, so that I have more than one page. So that is what's going on here. But you can add a new landing page. And from there, you just need to select the type of landing page that you want. And oftentimes what we are doing is event RSVPs. But there's a lot of really great landing pages that you could go through. So you select what type it is, you explain, hey, what's the overall goal for this landing page? We call those objectives, right? And then you select some of the fields that you would like to collect. Now, it's worth noting, this is like my marketing background speaking to you right now. So I'm gonna like put on my marketing hat. The more fields that you require someone to fill in, the less likely they are to actually sign up. So that is your note. But if you need to gather a lot of information, gosh, here's a great place for it. But from there, you would just hit create landing page and it would bring you to this section. Now, what I'm going to be showcasing to you guys is the background. This is a behind the scenes special for you guys about our routine workflows builder event. Again, this is October the 10th, and we are going to look at this landing page, and then we are actually going to click this little double copy. I'm going to open it up in browser, and we are going to get the opportunity to take a look at it. So we first of hand, we're able to build using SAM the landing page name and the description, as well as the thank you message. So once they fill out this RSVP form, it gives them a thank you message. So this is pretty well everything you need to be able to actually have a successful landing form. And this is really great because you can add this to an email, and you could use it for events like our friend Jose did, or other things. Now, for the thank you message, maybe you want to redirect to something else. Well, you can absolutely do that. And then at the very bottom, agent info. This is pulled from your profile section and is easy enough to gather. So once we have that, we can start to build out the actual thing, right? So agent photo, logo, and then you can choose the specific colors as well as the submit button. And then you can choose, you know, do I want the submit button to be a little bit different than the regular one, or do I want it just regular as is? So once we have that, we can then go to our upload banner. Now, one of the cool integrations that we have access to is this search Pixabay. Pixabay is a free, royalty-free images, and you can just search them up, and you could search based on some suggested terms that Sam gives you, or just selecting based on what you're looking for. Now, I absolutely love this image, so that's great. I'm going to keep it. But then we can start building out the form. And that's as easy as adding in this add field, and then you can select the type of field that you want. Do you want them to be able to write or have an area for them to write? So this would be like short form, long form. Is there a drop down? And you have a couple drop down menus. Are you asking them to rate you? This would be a really great opportunity for us to send this to all of our past clients and say, hey, how did I do as a real estate agent? You can gather testimonials, just boom, right there. And then you have your basic fields, email, phone, number. You could even add for a date if you need something specific there. You can build in checkboxes, YouTube videos, images, and that's it. Now, what I'm using in this one is text only. So we are going to build out our video. That's the first one. And then when we click into here, you're going to see that you can choose from several different options. That's what we covered. You add the video. You can add an optional title for the video. You can choose the aspect ratio as well as the size of the overall image on the page. Now, in a second, we're going to actually look at the specific website, and you guys are going to get the opportunity to actually see what it looks like. And this is where a little bit of fine tweaking comes in. But after that, do you want the video to autoplay? Do you want it to be muted by default? Do you want to show the controls? What is the border radius? That's how much rounding the edges have. And then just margins, you know, how much space is between all of the things, right? So that's the baseline for building out. You understand that? Boom, you're well on your way. So that's the video section, but what about that text only section? Well, text only field, and then we just add our copy. Now, the really cool thing about this is inside SAM, I could also insert merge fields that would allow me to enhance the copy, or I could just let Sam create this specific piece of content by clicking the little shimmers and explaining, hey, what am I hoping to explain or articulate in this specific area? So that's really cool because you can allow Sam to actually help you out there. Again, from there, we have the ability to text align. We can choose if we want this section to be bolded, italic, underlined, the border radius and size, and we can go through and just kind of build out all of these different pieces. Now from here, we start stacking them, and if you need to adjust the layout, you can do that pretty easily. But then once we've built it out and we think we have everything we want, I have my title, description, then a video, and then I go into my text. You filled out your fields. I have a last minute text only bonus. And this bonus says, hey, if you sign up for this event, we will give you an invite to our next event that we're having. That is going to be a business coaching event, October the 17th. So this is another little teaser for you. But once we have that, we can actually build out some of the details that are going to go into the contact in the specific contact section for the lead as they come in the door. So what that means is if I were to fill out this lead form, I can preset that the category would be A, or, you know, I'm just going to leave it as blank. I can preset that it's going to be a lead versus a client, or a personal versus a prospect. I can preset whether it's an active or it's just a warm. So you can start to identify these things. These, again, are all about data cleanliness. Now, one of the things that some of our other folks have used this for was to actually update their database. And speaking of data cleanliness, that's really important. So you could start to build out, hey, you know, I haven't talked to this person in a while. They're a cold lead, but when they fill that out, you know, maybe we adjust that cold lead into a warm lead or an active lead. Well, they're probably not quite hot, but hey, we've moved up, right? And then some of the different fields that you can select inside of SAM is their language of preference. So our friend Jose works in Texas. He helps out folks in Mexico as well as Texas, which is oftentimes a bilingual state, which is really cool. And so maybe he has English or Spanish, you know, maybe there's two lists. And the power in selecting this is if someone has their language set up as Spanish, SAM can automatically translate those emails and those text messages into Spanish, and then you just review it and send it. And you didn't have to go through and translate it. And these are pretty accurate. I don't speak Spanish super well, but I have been told that they're pretty accurate. So that's really cool too. Caveat being, proofread all your stuff, right? And then you can add specific tags. Now, this is a really cool thing, and this is going to be important in just a second, because we're actually going to dive into the automations that are going to occur when these leads come in. And that is done through these date fields. So inside of SAM, we have what are called modular routine automations. We named them routines. We named them routines because everyone has lots of routines in their life, whether it's waking up in the morning and making some coffee, going for a walk, maybe taking a shower, brush your teeth, get started with your day. But the specific routine is always triggered by one specific key moment. Maybe that's your alarm clock going off. Maybe that's you putting your feet on the ground, whatever it is. So think of it like that. And the same goes for how we've built workflow automations inside of SAM. All of them are focused on key dates. So a really great example of this would be if you learn someone's birthday, you can build out an automated process for their birthday. Now, this makes thinking about workflow automations really easy, but what it does is it allows you to also focus in on building out really great experiences. So what I have done is I have actually built out a custom date field called the Routine Workflows Builder Launch Event. Now, you can do that in the Setup tab. So you would go back to this right hand, go to the Setup, and then go to Menu Options. You can actually build custom date fields by clicking this Manage Date Fields, Add New Date Field. And you can see the list of all of your date fields that you have there. You could actually build that out. You can also add custom tags, custom connection types, lots of customization. Now, we did this because we believe that you should be able to have the ability to add these in without having to contact our team and then just twiddling your thumbs for 2 to 3 weeks, which is pretty traditionally standard while you just wait for date fields or fields in general to get added into your system. So you would build that, and then you would come down here and you could select the date field. Now put a little pin in that because we're going to revisit what this does in just a second. And after that, we can choose whether we want these leads to be automatically approved when they fill out their lead form, or if before they get put into our contact database, we actually want to review them to make sure that they're real leads. This is optional, but I have just, in this specific case, selected automatically approved for submission. So from here, you click Save Landing Page, and you are ready to go. Now, a second ago, I actually pulled up the email, and I clicked these 2 stacked bars, and then you have several different options. Now, the first thing you could do, you could go to this landing page URL. And we're going to talk about that in just a second, because there is something worth bringing up, and that it's this URL is kind of a gross URL, but you could also use this specific QR code. You could download it for all of your marketing. You can preview with a specific contact, or you can open it up in a browser. And that's exactly what I did. So now let's go ahead and let's pull it up. So here is our lead form, and it looks pretty great. It looks just like a website, right? It's got this, like I said, this crazy URL, but here's our banner, here's our description and our title, and here's that video. It auto played, and it was muted, just like I wanted. Under that, we have our pieces of copy. Each of those was its own row. and then our fields, first name, last name, email, that field at the very bottom, driving towards the October 10th, and then submit. So just as easy as that, not difficult, kind of plug and play, and you have the ability to actually work through this. So because this is behind the scenes, let's talk about this URL. So these URLs are built using SAM, and it's just adding a little bit of context through code, right? But this is a URL that maybe you don't actually want to share. So that is where I found myself. And so what you need to do is you need to have a way to actually forward through a domain user. Now, for us, we use a service for actually hosting our web pages called ClickFunnels. And I'm sure there's lots of other ways in which you could do this, but you just, inside of ClickFunnels, you would go into your settings and your domains, and then they have a domain forwarding. So the key here is you need to have the ability to have domain forwarding. And now what we're able to do is use this URL, the routine workflows launch. Much cleaner, right? And so this is just one way. This is my way. This is not the way, but what it does is it allows you to actually build forwarding rules. I'm sure there's lots of services out there. I'm going to let you do the research on that one because I believe that you can absolutely do that. But now I have a clean URL that I can actually send folks to. I feel much better about that because that's going to be really important for our marketing emails. If they saw that initial URL, oh my gosh, they would be freaked out. But let's like play this full force. So here's the URL. I click forward, and it does change it back once you get it because it's just a redirect. It forwards it basically for me on my behalf, and that is how we get there. So that's what that looks like. Now, while I'm building these, I do have, you guys actually don't get to see my setup, but right here where the camera is, I have my laptop. And then over to the side where the screen is, I actually have a second monitor. And so what I'm doing is I have this specific landing page pulled over to my laptop screen, and then I'm editing inside of SAM live on this. And then you just hit save landing page, you go back over to your laptop screen, you reload the landing page, and you can see the updates. So as you're moving, you can kind of build pretty quickly, and you can start to phonetically is not the right word, you can start to build out what you want looking at it. So that is how we build out landing pages. How simple is that? It's pretty simple, right? But here is where we need to talk about the actual process. So I now have all of these leads coming in as they fill it out, and they are adding this specific tag to that contact. Now, what that allows me to do is build out a filtered list inside my contact database. I'm not going to show you my contact database because this is actually my user account. And so you guys don't get access to any of the sneaky data, but nonetheless, that is what that would do. You can see lots of examples of that on some of our training videos. But what I do want to showcase to you guys is the routine section. So if you remember back, we talked about these routines being modular. Let's actually like dive into that. So what we're actually doing, so here's the routine workflows builder launch event. And remember that custom important date that I built out? Well, that is now able to build out a specific routine. So anytime this date gets filled out, which it automatically gets filled out when those leads come in, this routine will trigger. And it does that because it's set to active. So what happens when this actually gets triggered? Well, we need to immediately, 0 days after that date field gets filled out, send a registration confirmation message. So I have it set to automatically send out through the system. There's lots of different ways in which we could build out this specific action inside this specific activity. But for this one, I just want to send a message. And then I have a templated message that I have built out. Now, one of the things that you could do inside of SAM, and you can click that little icon to the right-hand side, is you could select any of those pre-saved, pre-built templates, right? You could also go to add a new template, and you could let SAM create it just like in that other section. So we try to enable you to have the power to be able to build these really efficiently, really effectively, quickly using SAM. And so you would just explain, hey, I want this to be a confirmation email for my event. Here's the event. Here's the details of when it is, where it is, how we're going to be hosting it, whatever. And so Sam was able to build out templates, right? On here, I explain it's October the 10th. You can join the event, and it has the URL. And if you are seeing this training video and you are smart enough, you could follow this URL on the 10th, and you could actually enjoy the event with us. But I am actually going to pitch to you guys in just a second how you can sign up. You can see this whole process run through, and you can actually attend this event because we've got something really crazy that we're about to launch. And we'll dive into that in just a second. So now that we have this, we have a bit of a follow-up process. Any good event needs a couple reminders. So 3 days before October the 10th, we are actually, instead of using the important date, I'm actually setting a specific month date. That's something that you can do inside of SAM pretty easily. It's going to send out at noon, and it's just a 3-day reminder. Again, I built this out. This one specifically introduces who Mark and I are. That way you have a little bit of an understanding of, gosh, who are these people that I'm attending this event for? And then doubles down with the send them, you can add this event to your GCal. Oh, and I threw in a little bonus for them. So that's really neat. And so we have our 3-day. After that, we have a 1-day reminder, very similar flow. And this specific thing, in this email, I say my job right now is to convince you to show up to the event tomorrow. I'm doubling down. I recognize a lot of people sign up for events and they just want the replays. Well, I want you to be there live. And so double down there. And then I have a 0 days before. You could also, I guess, do 0 days after. It wouldn't really matter. And then it's going to send in the morning. At that point, we're going to send an email. Hey, today's the event. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Hope to see you there. And then it has removed adding it to the GCal, and it's just straightforward. Here's the access point. So now that I have all of this, I actually have the ability to view all of the people that it's running on, and it would start automatically for me. So that's really neat. So what happens here is folks will sign up for the event on the lead form. It sends them to that thank you page. This routine kicks off, and then they immediately get the message. And then there's a couple follow-up points that drive them closer and closer to the event. So that's how we host the event. But saying to yourself, well, Cody, what about the marketing piece? Well, that's something else that I did, and it's worth talking about. So we have our routine workflow builder launch event, and very similar. I built out a custom date for our email series. These are all marketing emails. Maybe you actually received these marketing emails. But what I did was I built out this routine. I set it as active. And then I went in on all of the leads that I wanted to send this to in the different lists. I actually filled in this field using an update field inside of SAM. Again, not going to show you my contact database on this specific training because those real contacts, but we have lots of trainings, and maybe I'll showcase that on a demo video. If you really want it, just let me know, and we can absolutely do that. But on that, let's talk through, gosh, what are these marketing emails? Well, you're going to see a very similar flow. As soon as that date field gets filled in, 0 days after, we're going to send a launch announcement. Hey, got something really cool. And then it drives onto this lead form. Now, because it's a button, I can send them to this crazy URL. But what we are going to look at is on my second email. It's 5 days before the event. We have shifted the tone. It's a problem solution positioning. And in this one, actually send them to the cleaner URL. We're split testing just to see what's going on. And then after that, we have a 3 days before. And this 3 days is going to use a little bit of social proof. We're explaining about some stories, kind of like our buddy Jose, who just nailed it at a live event. And again, send them to the right place. And then we're going to take one last shot on the actual day of. Hey, we're going live today. I would love for you to be there. And this one's really simple. right? So we're working to drive them forward. So as soon as I add this to there, they're going to receive these. But here's the thing that can sometimes be missed, especially if you are using workflow automations and they are traditional legacy workflows inside a legacy CRM. And it's that, how do we know at what point this lead has actually signed up? And gosh, if they've signed up, we don't want to keep sending them marketing emails. That's super embarrassing, right? So we need a way to be able to recognize, hey, they've signed up. We don't need to send them any more marketing emails, but we do have the event sign up confirmation emails going out on them. This is actually kind of the baseline of where the idea for routines came to play, because when I first sat down, I needed a way to send all of my customers a set of emails, and I needed a way to send all my trialers a set of emails, folks who were actually looking at the software. We give out 14 days of free access on us, and you can take a look at SAM for yourself. All you would have to do is visit sam.workflowsecrets.info. You could sign up and have some fun in the system. But what happened at one point, and this is kind of what started me off on this path, was I had an individual who signed up on day 4 of the trial. Well, it's going to be really embarrassing if they keep receiving trial emails and offers to subscribe. They've already subscribed. So I needed a way to transition them over into a customer series, but also needed to continue to build up their knowledge base, because in some ways our trial serves as an onboarding. That way you know everything you need to when you come into the system. It's a really powerful way of actually migrating customers into success. So what we did inside of routines is we actually built a condition that allows you to use actions. So inside those actions, like I said, there's lots of them. One of which is for us to stop routines. So what I have built in is a stop routine. So if we go over here, we're actually going to go to our stop routine. And now on the routine workflows builder launch event, that's the one that gets filled out once they filled out their lead form. This could be triggered. And when it's triggered, what it's going to do is it's just going to 0 days after that, stop the routine. What routine is it going to stop? The email series. Boom. So it does require an additional step, but now we have our marketing emails stopping and we have our confirmation emails beginning. So it all works in symphony and it all works in a really powerful way. This would be what you would consider a routine workflow. A workflow consisting of multiple routines that are still focused on the individual steps inside of it. That's what we're going to be previewing to you guys on October the 10th. This is a little bit of a teaser for you guys. So now we have the entire system working for us, operating successfully. We have the lead form that is built out. We have a forwarding rule. So if anyone wants to see a cleaner URL, they can, but they can also use the URL that's auto-generated if you don't have access to something that allows you to build forwarding messages. And then we have a marketing sequence. I sent this out to all of the different folks inside our database. It's run on a routine so that they're getting multiple marketing emails in this specific sequence. If they sign up for the event, that marketing email series stops and they start getting confirmation emails and reminders. And it all culminates in everyone showing up to the event on October the 10th. So here is where my pitch goes to you guys. October the 10th, we are going to be hosting a live event from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be showcasing something inside of SAM that is going to fundamentally shift how you think about workflow automations. It is the routine workflows builder. So just like I showed you this example right here of actually taking several routines patched together, but focused on specific tasks and building out an overarching routine workflow process, that's what we're going to be showcasing to you guys and how to actually build these inside of SAM. But here's the crazy part. I did all of that manually. It took me about 2 to 3 days to actually get it all set up. What we're going to be showcasing to you guys is how you can actually use SAM to build all of that. You could have it build out all of the routines Inside of all of those routines, it would build out all of the actions, all of the activities, all of the messages. Those messages, using a writing sample that you place in your profile, are going to be custom written so they sound like you. And it was all built by Sam, creating the entire experience in literally 20 minutes. That's going to be what we're going to be showcasing on the 10th. So imagine to yourself how you can take multiple days of work building out for a single event, a single sequence, a single process that you have. Maybe this would be your entire lead generation process. And you have the software build it in literally 20 minutes. That is what we're going to be showcasing to you guys. So if you're seeing this before October the 10th and you would like to actually see this live, it's going to be really cool. And Mark and I are going to be showing up. We're going to be showcasing you how we are actually achieving what we set out to do. And it's reimagining workflow automations. It's transforming what we think of as real estate technology. And Sam is the system that is doing it, because it is the system that is replacing real estate CRMs for agents and teams across the North American continent. But here's my final pitch. You would go to this website, and this is that website that has the forwarding rule. Go ahead and fill out the lead form. When you fill out the lead form, what you're going to do is you're going to get all of those confirmation emails, and you will have the ability to show up to the event live with us. We're going to spend a lot of time showcasing this. We're actually going to help you guys understand how you could build these into your system. And then we're going to throw a really incredible offer into how you can get access to Sam so that you could start building these using Sam pretty well today. I'm so excited for this. This is one of my favorite things to focus on, these behind the scenes, because I put a lot of effort into building out the processes, these systems, and I consider myself a systems thinker. And so being able to showcase to you guys examples that maybe get your gears spinning, maybe help you understand what you would need to do inside your real estate business to actually achieve these. This is a really powerful connection piece. So go ahead and visit this website, sign up to attend live, and I will see you on October the 10th. If for some reason you're seeing this after October the 10th, sometimes YouTube throttles our videos and you just don't find them until a little bit later. If you will reply in the comments, hey, Cody, I would love to see a replay, I will absolutely make sure you get access to that. But other than that, thanks for taking a look at this. And I've had a lot of fun showcasing to you guys what I've been building. Hopefully you're having a really great day, and I'll see you on October the 10th.